Okay, just kind of leading off from the previous training, we've evaluated a couple different neighborhoods, looking quickly at those neighborhoods to determine if there's any wholesale opportunities. And from the last training session, we came across this Montbello neighborhood that had two properties that looked interesting. So the next step really is to figure out if we can disqualify these properties based on a few more factors. So we want to go ahead and pull up those properties. Um, we're going to go ahead and run a broker report. We're going to take a look at that. And then I'm also going to go back to the results tab as that's pulling that up. And I'm going to click on the map feature. So hit the little plus sign up there. And I'm going to zoom in on these two properties. Looks like when you check these check boxes, it's going to highlight. Sorry, the little pop-up boxes are coming up everywhere. It's going to highlight those neighborhoods or those properties. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. I accidentally selected that one. This first property right here. And what we're looking for is whether or not it's on a busy street. Does it back or face any commercial? And when I say it's on a busy street, that means either facing a busy street or backing to a busy street. We don't want our properties near busy streets. Or they can be near it, they just can't be backing or facing a busy street. Same with commercial. And I did kind of term that as ugly commercial, such as industrial, retail locations, things like that. If it's a school, an apartment building, those things are okay. So this property here looks okay. You can tell just from the neighborhood here, it's not a busy street. It doesn't look like there's any commercial around it. All the boxes are pretty much uniform, and so this one I would say no, it's fine. We're not going to go ahead and disqualify this one for any reason um, from the initial look here. This again looks fine. So we're going to go ahead and go to the reports tab. We don't have a picture. That kind of well, it's helpful to have a picture, but that's okay. We'll still make an offer on it. I always check to see if it's a detached single family. Sometimes it's an attached single family. Maybe sometimes I accidentally don't enter it right in MLS and it's a condo or a townhouse, something like that. So just make sure it's a detached single family. Uh, Oops. And then we want to go to the next one, detached single family. And we really don't want to look at anything really above 300,000. These properties are fine, and I think that's about it. Let me see if there's anything else. No. So these two properties look pretty good. So I would go ahead and we'll kind of move on to the next step, which we'll go to scroll down to the high solds. And what we want to compare to is the square footage, the total square footage of these properties. So these two, the total square footage is right here, 1680. That's an ugly house, but that's what we like. 1480, so around 1500 square foot, and just roughly. So we're kind of scrolling through the square foot range here. There's a lot of properties here uh, in this higher range, so it might be faster to uh, actually narrow down the square foot on the search. And I'm going to go ahead and just jump into and show you how to do that. I was going to do that on another training, but this one is a good example. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. We're going to narrow down the square footage a little bit. So you want to go to the different. There's more additional factors you can plug in here. So we want to highlight the total square foot, put it into our box over here, hit apply, and then our total square footage is right here. So I'm going to put in 1300 to 1800. That's roughly the range that would be comparable to what we're doing. So we'll go ahead and search that. And scroll back down, and that narrowed that down quite a bit. Took out a lot of properties here. So we're really into the 150s, 140s range is where we're at with that total square footage. Let's go ahead and select a few of those, take a look at them, and compare them to our two here. Run our quick report. And just make sure we're kind of looking at, we don't have a picture, but here we have a picture of this house. Again, pretty ugly. Looks like they converted a garage. But anyways, so let's go over. I also look at the age of the house, which is right here. Just a quick 74, 82, that's fine. 70, total square footage. These are very similar. Nothing. So yeah, I would plug in a value around 140, 150. So now we've determined what our ARV value, our after repair value, is going to be. So let's go ahead and pull up, if I can get the right sheet. Let's go ahead and offer. Let's go ahead and pull up our. So we're going to do 140, 145, 150. Perfect. So we're going to offer them this, since it's a little bit of a lower priced home, so property below, we're going to use the 70% values. Looks like both those properties, since one didn't have a picture, is probably going to need a lot of work. So we're going to stick with, we're going to offer about 70,000 on those. So now that we know that, we're going to go ahead and export that data. So go back to the results tab. I'm going to clear everything, highlight these two, export it, full, done. When I get the email, I'll go ahead and plug in those values of an offer of 70,000 on both those properties. So that's it. We'll move on to the next training.